It's John Justice here for My Nerd World, and a happy new year to you. I hope you had a good 2023, and I hope regardless of how your 2023 was, your 2024 is even better and off to a great start. We have our first little nugget of Star Wars news to come out from StarWarsNewsNet.com, and it's a website that I go to often. They do great reporting here. There's an article by Miguel Fernandez. I enjoy his work. I disagree with some of his comments here, and we'll get into this. So let me say something up front. I'm obviously a massive Star Wars fan, and I enjoy all three of the sequel trilogy films. I was excited to hear that Daisy Ridley will be returning to her character of Rey for this post-The Rise of Skywalker film set some 15 years after The Rise of Skywalker. Again, this is a film that I very much enjoy. I'm less optimistic, though, and have been, with the choice of the director, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. Having an individual whose resume includes a couple of documentary films and some credits with Ms. Marvel, the Disney Plus streaming show, doesn't give me a ton of confidence. If we were looking at a series of films and we already had a film or a few films in that series to establish a baseline of storytelling and quality, and then to bring in a relatively unexperienced director like this, I'd have more confidence. But to have this be the first Star Wars film in going on 6, potentially 7 years, if this movie does come out in December of 2026, and assuming it is the first movie that we get on the big screen, and Dave Filoni's Mandoverse film doesn't beat it to the release date, I think this is a poor choice. And I'm less confident now based off of what's in the story. Now, this is a throwaway line from this particular director. She was being interviewed at the end of the year. She's Pakistani born, and she was talking with a reporter, I guess, in Pakistan for some event on CNN. And she was asked about the new Star Wars, New Jedi film. And Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy said, "I'm very thrilled about the project because I feel we're about to create something very special. And we're in 2024 now, and it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape a story in a galaxy far, far away." Typically, as of late in Hollywood, when you haven't even gone into production, when we don't even know if the script by Stephen Knight is even fully completed yet, we haven't got an announcement of the cast apart from Daisy Ridley, and you make a comment that you're going to be making something very, very special, typically that relates more to agenda than it does to the quality of storytelling or filmmaking, especially this early on. I'm trying to think of a film where somebody actually called their shot before the cameras even rolled and said, "We're making something really special," and it actually turned out to be special. It's the second part of her comment that I find incredibly ignorant. We're in 2024 now, and it's about time we had a woman come forward to shape a story in our galaxy. If you follow Star Wars at all, you know that's a ridiculous statement. So I put together a list. First off, let's go with Carrie Fisher, right? Princess Leia. Her hands behind the scenes. But then let's get a little bit more detailed into that. Comic book, novel writers, Cynthia Martin, Adriana Mello, Jan Duursema, Delilah S. Johnson, Claudia Gray. I've read some of these books. They're fantastic. Diana Williams, content strategist for Lucasfilm, member of the Lucasfilm Story Group. Rain Roberts, creative executive at Lucasfilm, one of the members of the Lucasfilm Story Group. Carrie Beck, vice president of Lucasfilm Animation and a member of the Lucasfilm Story Group. Carrie Hart, senior vice president of development at Lucasfilm, one of the producers of Star Wars Rebels, and the leader of the Lucasfilm Story Group, the leader. Lee Brackett got writing credit on The Empire Strikes Back. Marsha Lucas won an Academy Award for editing on her work on A New Hope. Gloria Katz was unaccredited as a screenwriter for Star Wars A New Hope. Michelle Rejwan. Do I even need to bring up Kathleen Kennedy? And we have a series coming out this year written and directed by Leslie Headland. This is Rachel Ziegler, Snow White levels of cringe in terms of this particular ignorant comment. Now, again, it's a throwaway comment that she said, but it does not give me all that much hope in terms of what we could get from this relatively inexperienced director. And here's the one issue that I had with Miguel Fernandez and a comment that he made right at the end of this particular article. With a director like Obaid-Chinoy at the helm, so focused on bringing equality and representation everywhere, she goes through her activism. We wouldn't be surprised if the cast was filled with people of color. So get ready for some internet outcry. Two things. One, why is everybody looking to pick a fight? Okay? And two, go back, look at the original trilogy. Go back and watch the prequel trilogy. The comics. Read the books. Right? Prior to the sale of Lucasfilm to Disney, there was diversity all over the place. The difference is, there wasn't this desire to virtue signal it everywhere. It was just there. And people could enjoy it. I'm fine with inclusion. I'm fine with diversity. But why do we have this need to shove it up in front of everybody's face and try to go and pick a fight? You're taking away the importance of the diversity and the equality that you say you are that you believe is so important. A good joke works when you don't have to explain it. And by the same token, right, call it representation, call it inclusion, call it whatever you want, but it's less effective when you got to go and broadcast it to everybody. I feel like things are shifting with regard to this, and I could be wrong. Again, I have no problem with diversity and inclusion within films. We've had it for a long time, and as I just laid out, we've had it in Star Wars since it started, for crying out loud. But there wasn't this desire to go and say, hey, everybody, look at what we're doing. It's called virtue signaling. It's completely unnecessary. And somebody should probably give this potential new Star Wars director, a list of all the women that I just laid out who came before her that have been crafting Star Wars stories long before she was even considered for going and directing a new Star Wars film. By the way, a new Star Wars film that she's not writing. Stephen Wright's writing this film. Look, I'm going to be cautiously optimistic. I'm excited that we're getting a post The Rise of Skywalker movie. Cautiously optimistic is my point. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. You can check out my podcast, My Nerd World, on wherever you go and listen to podcasts, whatever your platform of choice is. And if you like to read, I hope you'll check out my science fiction space opera series, EMBARK. I wrote it because of my love of Star Wars, my admiration of storytellers like George Lucas and James Cameron. 7 books in all in the series, available on Kindle Unlimited, ebook, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook. Go to Amazon.com, search for John, J-O-N, Justice, or you can go to mynerdworld.net. Happy New Year, and again, cautiously optimistic, and thanks for watching.